Well, hello everyone, it's Chef Jazzy John. Today we're going to be having our summer edition, which will be grilling. So today, our first thing we're going to grill will be a slab of baby back ribs. So I'm also going to probably do some pork chops, and I think I'm going to throw a couple bratwursts on the grill. So I'm going to take you through every step from preparing the rib to preparing the grill. You see my grill back in the background. So let's get started as normal. I hope you guys been having a great summer, because I know that I have been having a wonderful summer. So let's get started. As normal, I have everything measured out, so we're going to make a rub for the grill. For the meat, for the meat. We're going to make a rub. So we start with 2 tablespoons of black pepper, 1 tablespoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, 1 tablespoon of onion powder, and 1 tablespoon of Lawry's, and 1 tablespoon of paprika. And then I have a tablespoon, actually 2 tablespoons of Italian dressing marinade. So the first thing we're going to do is mix our ingredients together to form our rub. You can use this as a dry rub or just as a rub. I'm actually going to use the Italian dressing to put on the rib first, so that way your seasoning will stick better. Now when you do a rub or a marinade or whatever on a slab of ribs or whatever you're cooking, you can let this sit from 45 minutes to overnight. I prefer overnight, but I know we can't do that. So I have everything in here. A rub is something that you can make your own. I mean, you can just come up with any recipe. If you like jalapeno in it, you're going to put some smoked paprika in it. If you want to put more onion powder, something spicier, hot sauce, whatever you want to put in it, that's totally up to you. Dry mustard, whatever you want to put in your ribs. Some people use sugar, some people use brown sugar. It's just an endless list of how many ingredients you can put in your dry rib. So I got it shook up. Like I said, if you have some left, just put it in the cabinet. You have some for later. So actually, if you want to make double the recipe, you can. That way you'll have it. So what I'm going to start off with, first we're going to start off with, I've already cleaned it and everything, washed it. Make sure you wash your meat first. So as you see, it has a little bit of fat on the top. And then all ribs has this membrane on the back. So we're going to do the back first, I believe. Let's challenge first. Let's do a great challenge first. So what I normally do, and basically the membrane is just a little thin skin. Sometimes I actually leave it on there if it's too complicated, because if you cook them low and slow enough, they still come out perfect. So what I do, I go down the middle of the rib, on the back, not on the front, on the back, and I try to cut into that little thin membrane. You don't want to cut too deep. You don't want to cut your rib too early. And then, now every rib is different. So if this one wants to act up on me because I'm trying to do a video, it just may. Okay, let's start on this end. Okay. So normally I just take, it's amazing because it's not acting right today. But I just put my finger under it. I'm going to have to cut it again, just to get it started. But you know there's a thin membrane on the back of all the ribs. All ribs have a thin membrane. So let's see, I may have to use a paper towel, or sometimes you just, you need a little, maybe slippery, need a little traction there. Okay, come on off of here, skin. So, I got it started. It was a little tricky there, so I had to put it on pause for a second. But basically, you just take the skin, and you just pull it off. And it's just a little thin membrane, because seasons don't stick to this. And also you want your smoke and things to be able to go right through. So it's just a little thin membrane. So remember I cut it in half. So here's the other part. It actually looks like it's in 3 parts. But you just pull it right off of there. It just comes right off. And that's basically it. That's one of the major keys to having a good tender rib. So now I'm gonna turn it back over. Rinse my hands one more time. So now I see a little bit of fat right in this area right here. So I'm gonna trim this off. Like I said, baby backs have very little fat. And actually, when you're cooking, you know, fat is good because fat helps maintain moisture. Okay, so that's great for that. Okay. So now what I do is, and this is me, like I always tell you guys, that these are just guidelines. So this is the way I do it. So I take a little of the Italian dressing, just a little bit, and you see it's kind of oily and got a couple of seeds in it. And I take that and I rub it all over, top and back, and that way to start to soak down those bones. And like I tell you, you can marinate things from 45 minutes to overnight. So now we're gonna take our rub and we're gonna just shake it on there. Now, one thing about a rub, so make sure that you got it mixed really well and evenly. You don't so much spread it on, you pat it in, as you see. So what I'm doing here is just patting it in. And as I pat it, I do kind of make sure it's distributed, but I don't rub it. So that's all those great seasonings. So I'm gonna flip it over, put some on the back. There's no measurements for that. So you just do it to your liking. You pat it in there because you just definitely want that too. So you can even do this. Just pat it in if you have some spots you missed. Pat it on the sides. I do kind of rub it on the sides. Make sure that it sticks well. So you want a really nice, really well seasoned slab of ribs. So I'm gonna add a little bit more. So notice that I only use 1 tablespoon of the salt and 1 tablespoon of Lawry's, because Lawry's has salt in it. So you don't want to over salt your rib for sure. A slab of baby back is not a cheap item. So okay, I'm gonna pat it in some more. I want to make sure that there's no open parts. So just do it like that. So that's step 1 of preparing your rib. So now I'm going to take it back in the house, wrap it in some foil, or just sit in a foil pan and let it sit for about an hour while we prepare the grill. So that's it, people. It's just seasoning it, preparing it, and we can go right to the grill. Unfortunately, because I am teaching you things today, I'm not going to go directly to the grill because we're going to talk about how to get it lit first of all. Okay, so let's put it up. Let me get my foil out. We're going to just sit this right on the foil. Now I'm going to take it in the house because it is kind of warm outside. Okay, so our very next step is to get the grill lit while this is marinating. So, part 2, we are at the grill. I know you can't see me well, but let's talk about the grill. This grill I have is it's called a Char Griller Professional Grills and Smokers, but you don't have to be a professional. This grill costs about $150. I like it because it has a thermometer on the front. It's a nice heavy cast iron. But you can buy a Weber grill, you can buy a little bitty grill. This is mostly what I cook on because it's just me and my wife. Sorry about the background noise out there. This grill I use, this is my workhorse grill, I'll call it that. So basically, when you're gonna do grilling, the main thing to remember is low and slow. Unless you're cooking some burgers or hot dogs, and even a steak. Other than that, the basic principle is low and slow. So in that situation, you should know how much charcoal to put on your grill. So for this particular grill, I always use Kingsford. That's the only charcoal I use. Some people do prefer wood chunks. There's all different types of charcoal, but this is what I always buy because this is a premium charcoal and this always works. So I put some on there. I'm gonna put enough basically to go across the grill. You don't need a whole lot because once these charcoals get hot, they get really hot. So now for me, I have something unique. I'm sure you people can tell that I'm a gadget guy, but this is something I've been using for years. And this is called an electric charcoal starter. So all you do is, it heats up. It's kind of like a branding iron. So all you do is you put your charcoal in, you put some charcoal in, and then you sit this in here, and then you just stack them back on top, like so. And you will have a fire in 15 minutes, guaranteed. And this way you never have to worry about buying lighter fluid. You don't have to worry about your food smelling like lighter fluid, because I'm sure everyone has been to a barbecue where the food smells or even tastes like lighter fluid. So this is safer, more economical, and it just tastes better in the end. This is the only thing I've ever used. I never buy lighter fluid. The only time I use lighter fluid if I'm going on a picnic in a park where I don't have any electricity. Other than that, this is all I use. I keep a couple of them around in case one goes out, because I'll panic. But this is the easiest way to start a fire. And there's many methods. You know, some people use the chimneys. You can buy these little things called tumbleweeds. You can use lighter fluid. There's just a number of ways. But to me, I've been using one of these for at least 20 years. So basically, we let that wait, we let that sit. I'll come back in a couple of minutes and you'll see that I have a great fire. And this is the easiest way. Even my wife, who doesn't barbecue at all, she said, "You make it look so easy. How do you do that?" So anyway, I will see you all in a few minutes. But anyway, the grill is ready. So two things is, once you open it, that's when it's very hot. So you can do a second cleaning on your grill to make sure any debris is off of it. The top and bottom. Now you do the top first, then the bottom. Once again, depends on what type of grill you have. So it is ready. So also, I adjust my flue, my chimney, because you only want about 20% of air coming out of here. All grills have some type of air vent, so I have that all the way open. So you want to keep it right here. Fortunately, I have a thermometer on my grill, but you don't have to have a thermometer if you just follow the steps. So let's get the meat on the grill, because as you see, it's pretty hot in here now. But once I open it up and get the meat on it and all that, it'll go back down to the proper temperature. So I have my baby back. So we're gonna lay it on the grill, bone side down. And then also was able to season some pork chops. Now they'll cook a little bit faster because they're pork chops. So we're gonna cover the grill back up. So now, first thing, I would love to have everyone to purchase themselves an instant read meat thermometer. What an instant read meat thermometer does, it keeps the temperature of your meat, chicken, fish, whatever you're cooking. And this one even has the different degrees on it. So like chicken should always be at least 165 degrees. Meat should be 180. Well, like turkey, that should be 180. It has all the different for medium rare, however you want your meat to be. So also this will just help you. You'll know when your meat is at that perfect temperature. Now you can also look up, Google the proper temperatures that you want to be. Like for ribs, they'll say they're done at 165, I think, or 180. But you want them to cook to about 200 degrees. That way the tissue is starting to break down, and that's when you get really tender meat. So if you see, like around, I see that it's still kind of hot in there. So I'm going to open it up. And, I got this off of Amazon. It's about $12. So my vinegar water, I'm going to open up the grill because I don't want to cook too hot. And I'm actually even going to close my airflow vent for a minute. I'll probably just leave it about 50%. Because you don't want your meat to cook too fast. I just bought this little toy, this little spritz bottle. So you just want to kind of spritz a little bit to cool it down inside. especially the ribs, you want them to be able to cook for a couple hours. So I'm gonna let it back down. I closed all the vents for a minute. You see the temperature is dropping. So just some things that you have to do you do not want your meat to cook too fast. Also, we can also discuss this, that what I'm doing now is called direct heat cooking. Now, sometimes if you want to cook your ribs or something even slower, you do what's called an indirect heat cooking, which means you're going to have your charcoals on one side and your meat on the other side. And that way you don't never have to worry about it burning. It's going to take a little bit longer, but some people prefer that. And even when you do it the indirect, it may be good, nice to have a piece of wood or some wood chips or something on it. And you can do that on any kind of way, but that's nice because it's like smoking your meat. And like I said, it's going to take a little bit longer to achieve that temperature that you want. So now we're going to just sit back, listen to some jazz for a little while. I come and check it and come and baste it or spray it about every 20 to 30 minutes. And when I do that, first I turn it over, then I spray it. So first turn it over and then spray it. So okay, we'll see y'all again. We'll check back in about 30 minutes and we'll see. So it's time to check it again. We've been about an hour. Everything is cooking. Every time you come on here, I've been snuck something else on here, haven't I? So I'm stretching it. I'm gonna flip them back over. My bratwursts are looking absolutely beautiful. These are looking absolutely beautiful. Oops, sorry. Let me just show you my temperature. Well, it was exactly 300, so temperature is great. My pork chops are just simmering. There's my 2 pieces of corn, so this is dinner. And then I have some fresh green beans that I had prepared for the 4th of July, so I got them on there. So we're about to have a great dinner. So it's looking great. It's feeling great. One other thing I do want to add in. So if you're not cooking a lot, try to match the charcoal to what you need. Just say if I was going to cook just the 2 bratwursts, I would have just put a few charcoals on there. Actually, I would have used my other grill. But to just say you're going to put a couple pieces of chicken, then you know you don't need a whole grill full of charcoal. So let's check the temperature. So anytime you check temperature, you always want to put it in the thickest part of the meat. So it is registering about 175. So in another 30 minutes or so, we should be ready. I'm gonna shut it back down. The bratwurst is looking wonderful. Everything's doing great. It's nice and sunny out here. I don't know what kind of jazz I'm listening to. Okay, we're gonna check on the pork chops. Check them. They're looking so tender and juicy. So I'm gonna check the temperature. Remember, pork is supposed to be 180 degrees, and we are there. Yes, all 3 of them are at the proper temperature. So I'm gonna take these off because I don't want them to dry out. And we're gonna just keep on cooking. All right, see you in another few minutes. So we are back for this final time. So as you see, it looks beautiful. So let's check the temperature at its thickest point. It is 200 degrees. So it's nice and tender. So now I'm going to take a sheet of foil. I actually double the foil. And we're going to place it, the rib on the foil. Oops, foil is blowing away. And it's so tender, it's falling apart. I'll be saw that or not. It's falling apart, so you know that this is tender. So now this time, I'm gonna take some barbecue sauce. Once again, barbecue sauce of your own choice. And I'm gonna turn it over to the back side and do it first. Anyway, I cooked the ribs to 200 degrees, so they're registering at 200. But now they're cooling off a little bit, but basically they're at 200 degrees. So then I took 2 pieces of foil just to make it more durable. If you have heavy duty foil, that's fine. So I slathered sauce on both sides. I did the back side first. I would just see it's already falling apart. It's so tender. So did the back side first and then flipped it over, added more sauce. So now I'm gonna wrap it up in the foil. The temperature has cooled off. It's down to probably under 300 degrees. Once again, this is already done, so now we're just letting that sauce bake in. So I'm just leave it right there on the grill for about 10 minutes, and we'll be ready to cut it. And we'll be ready to take a wonderful, wonderful taste. So we'll close it back up. So today, I hope I've answered any of your questions. Like I said, remember, if you're only gonna cook a little bit, do a little charcoal. Now, if you're gonna do 5 slabs of ribs or 3 slabs of ribs, you wanna just make sure that your bottom grate is covered. Not stacked up, just covered, especially if you use a good quality charcoal. So I always use Kingsford. I use nothing else but Kingsford. And then remember also the electric charcoal starter, which saves money, saves the planet, and it tastes better. So hopefully I've covered everything. Talk about the temperature. Please, everyone, purchase you a Insta-Read thermometer. It will be the greatest investment you ever. It will change your cooking, because then you'll know that when that chicken is 165 degrees, it's done. You don't have to cook it to 175 degrees and then it's dry. Or if you're doing a pot roast, if you're doing steaks, no matter what, you will know the exact temperature at all times. Also, as far as cooking the ribs, only go out about every 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes, especially once you have your fire under control or your charcoal under control. But every 20, 30 minutes, go out, spritz a little bit, basting, spritz, or whatever you want to call it. I use the vinegar water that helps tenderize it and keeps it moist. So give it a few more minutes. I'll take it out. We'll be taking it to the cutting board. So we are back for the grand finale. So once I set it on the foil and put sauce on it, I let it stay on the grill about 10 minutes. Then I took it off of the grill and I still let it sit about 10 more minutes. So now we're gonna place it on our cutting board. Make sure you can see this beautiful baby. I can't really pick it up because it's so tender already. It's falling apart. So I'm gonna just lift it up until it fell apart all the way. Get rid of this foil so you can see really well. So you see, this is so tender that it already fell apart. So now, since it's already broke here, I'm gonna just kind of put it right there. And then I want you to see how this looks. Make sure you get a really good picture of the rib, that it's tender. You can tell the way it's wobbling, you know that it's tender. Okay. So now, you see I have my plate ready with the fresh green beans, some fresh corn on the cob off the grill, and some little cornbread muffins. So we're gonna turn it over back here so you can actually see the bones when you get ready to cut it. Boy, when you have barbecue, you need a lot of paper towels. So I just take it, and you see it just cuts like butter. They are so tender. So if you all lit your grill and worked along with me, you should have some great ribs right about now. So let's take up one. You can see that this is the baby back. No fat. It's kind of a little bit more meat on the bone. So let's go for it. Chef Jazzy John eating barbecue ribs. I don't need any teeth to eat this rib right here. It's so good. So, until next time, our next summer grilling event, or adventure I should say, Chef Jazzy John signing off.